And over the weekend, there was the World Tourism Day on the 27th on Saturday. And so a lot of tourism stories coming up. But first, I'm about to update you on some of the data that is coming out of the Agriculture Food Authority. And is the Agricultural Import and Export Trade data for 2024, which presents a mixed picture marked by significant strides in reducing reliance on key imports alongside challenges in certain export markets. The overall performance highlights sharp reductions in major food crop imports attributed primarily to increased domestic production and government controls. So let's have a look at the FAA's 2023-2024 report and start with coffee. Coffee, which experienced an increase right there, export of coffee by around 2,000 metric tons. And it's attributed to the targeted market promotion initiatives. And the value rose by around $40 million from 251 million to 292. And then on horticulture, we had a drop, a 12.8% drop. And that decline is attributed to cargo crisis and, requirements, EU requirements, standardization. And then vegetables, again, a 50% drop still, or attributed to the standardization, stringent market requirements by the EU. That's on vegetables. Pyrethrum had an almost 50% increase, which indicates growing demand in Asia and emerging European markets for Kenya, especially for pyrethrum. And then Mirad, 23.8% drop, which is primarily due to reduced demand and logistical challenges in Somalia. So that 23% might have just been the Somali market. And then we have green grams, which had a 153.7% increase. Export increased significantly. I think that's a new market. And then there's macadamia, and that is just the export market. We move on to the import market, which had a drop in maize imports, which is a good thing whenever we import lesser maize, which means we produce as much. Reduction attributed to increased domestic production. The average from gate price declined from 2023 to 2024. For sorghum, a 90% decline due to increased domestic production. That's another one. So we don't need so much imports of import of sorghum. And then another decline on another staple food, which is rice, by 32.3%. That decline is driven by government measures aimed at curbing imports and boosting domestic production. That's at least according to the report by the FAA. And then, of course, wheat declined by 16%, still nearly the same story. Cotton declined by 42.37%, which reflects our multi-sectoral efforts to revitalize local cotton production. That is just according to the report by the FAA. Now let's talk tourism. Tour operators and agents